So continue for the Python preparation session. Next, set data type. So set was introduced from the set programming language. Okay, na set ABC and then Python. So set is a data type in the Python. So what is a set? A selection is set is a collection of the data. So set was derived from the set programming language. So same for other data types. Representing set also representing implicit square curly braces and set two times braces. Okay na? So this is called a constructor. This part is called a set constructor. How to add item to a set by using a add function. Okay, next how to next one is the update. So update a set to another set. If I want to see here, two sets are 1 2 3 3 4 5. Okay na? So it will add set to another set. So basically set will not allow the duplicates. Set will not allow the duplicates. So in this case, what is the result? 1 2 3 4 5, not a 3 2 times single time. Set will not allow duplicate. Next, how to access a item from the set? So collection item can be accessed by using the index. Okay, same as the index, but set will not work on the index because set items are unordered. Set items are unordered. Set will not allow the duplicates. Set items are unordered. To access this set items or print, simply use the for loop for item in a collection and then statement. Can we delete a item from the set? Yes, using the remove. Remove is a set function. Remove an item from the set collection. So here I want to remove the Malli. So Malli will be removed from this set. Okay. Next, discard. Discard is same as a remove. Discard will remove the specific item or element from the set. So remove. If the remove item is not exist, then it will be through the error. Okay, for example, in the above case, we are removing an item. That item is not exist, then remove will throw exception. That's what we are using the discard. So discard we need to use to remove an item from the dictionary. Next, pop. Pop means it will remove random item because set is unordered. Next, clear. Clear will remove all the item. Next one is the delete. Okay. So next set join functions. Here we are having the union. A union B. It will be produce the result of A union B. Same like append and update and union. Okay. Next insertion. Intersection. Intersection in the sense I want to find a common element between the two sets. Next intersection update. So return the matched record between the two sets and update the set. Okay. See here it will return and update the data in the A. Okay, a dot insertion underscore update means it will produce the result and update the a value, but in this case it will produce the result and this result we need to store in another variable. So this part will produce the result we need to store in another variable. In this case it will produce the result and update the a. So a is equal to a dot intersection of b, same as a dot intersection underscore update. Okay na? Symmetric update. Symmetric update return the non-matched records between the two sets. Symmetric update, it will return and update the value. Okay na? Superset. Okay, subset. We're having the two other methods also to check superset or subset. Difference. Difference return the non-matched records between the left set. Okay. Next set is clear. So set having a functions like set add functions, update functions, delete functions. Next set other functions like set union, intersection, and check is a superset or is subset. Next one is the frozen set. Frozen set is a data type which is same as a set, but what is the difference? See, in case of set, set is a data type. Set is another data type. Set will not allow the duplicates. Okay, so and you can able to modify the set. You can nothing but a set can be changeable, add and update or delete. In case of frozen set, which is same as a set, so which also a not allowing the duplicates, which also unadded, but a frozen set you can't able to add or remove item from the frozen set. That is the difference. Okay. Next, same like a set, we're having the union intersection. Other than the update to delete, mm, insert functions, we're having the remaining same functions. Okay, na? So next, list already we discussed. Tuple. What is a tuple? What is a tuple? How to represent a tuple? Tuple same as a list. Set of rows and set list tuple. So set of rows and set both are unordered and both will not allow the duplicate. But whereas set you can able to modify, frozen set you can't able to modify. Next, list and tuple both are same, but list and say tuple are ordered and both are you can able to modify, and both will allow the duplicate values. Okay, so list tuple can be modified, which allow the duplicate values. Okay, and ordered allow duplicate values and you can able to modify. But in case of list and tuple, so list you can able to modify, tuple you can't able to modify. That is the difference. Okay, na? So here it is having only one function, that is called index function, to find index and count. Count also is there, count and index. Okay, so next we had a revision session. Everybody's clear? Data types.
Yes, sir.
So next, take a question. So what is a so okay, other operators, membership operator in the sense is and is, sorry, in and in operator. So in operator check specific item is given in the another item. It can be a list item in the list, string character in the string. So like this. Okay, so next, identity is nothing but a is and is not. Identity is nothing but a is and is not. Okay, so conditional statement also we done previous recording. Next, important, what is a function and explain about this function. So what is the purpose of a function? Function encapsulate the logic. Function represent a block of a code. Function contain a logic. Any one definition, remember. So how many types of a functions? Next question. So there are a 5 different types. General are parameters are non-returnable. These different types you can able to add 3 types. Then it is become 7 more types. Total become a 7 types. Okay, na? Parameterless, non-returnable, if you take it as a separate type. General are parameterless or non-returnable. Next one is the parameterized or argument. Next one is the returnable function. Next one is the anonymous or lambda function. Next one is the callback function. Okay. So types of functions. Okay. Next, how to call a function by using the function name. So what is the syntax of function? A function is defined by using the def space function name, parameters are optional, colon. Next, this is called intentation or intended, the space. But in other programming languages, we are using, so like this, curly braces. Okay, na? So between these braces, we are writing here. But in case of Python, so statement colon, we are going to be write like this. This is called intentation. Okay. So parameterized function. Again, parameterized function, we can able to call it as a argument functions. We have the types also. With arguments, see, simple with arguments. One is the with arguments. Next one is the arbitrary arguments. Arbitrary argument is represented by the star arguments. For example, star params. So in this case, I can able to send a list or a collection of items. But in case of these arguments a comma b, name means I can able to send a name. If I send another name comma some details, not possible. But star parameters, yes, it is possible. Okay, I can able to send either set, frozen set, a list or a tuple. Okay, collections we can able to send, or we can able to say 1 comma 2 comma 3 individual parameters. So you can able to send more than one parameter also. Next, optional parameter. Okay, so creating a parameter with data is called optional parameter, a comma b comma c. So whenever you are calling this add function 1 comma 2, c can be optional. If you pass or not, no issue, you can able to make it as an optional parameter. Always optional parameter use at a last. So optional and arbitrary parameters also you can able to use. Okay, next one is the named parameter. For example, a comma b. So whenever you are calling a function, this is the function calling or not. So a is equal to 1, b is equal to 2, or b is equal to 1, a is equal to 2. Okay na? So this is called named parameter. In case of named parameter, you can able to give any order, it can be fine. So see the named parameter and parameter, here also you are calling, there also you are calling. But if you are mentioning a is equal to 1, b is equal to 2, c is equal to something, so then it is called a named parameter. Okay na? In case of calling only named parameter. Next one is in case of arbitrary parameter also, we can able to represent a list set of row set, I said. But can I represent a list also? Sorry, can I represent a dictionary also? Yes. Single star is nothing but a simple collection. But in case of star is nothing but a dictionary. So here, so you can able to represent a key and a value. Key name is equal to Krishna, email is equal to k@gmail.com. If you want to represent like this, then you can able to use star. No sir, I want to represent like this only, Krishna@gmail.com. Represent a single star. Single star is nothing but a plain collection. Key and value is there, then it is become a double star. How to access the value? Same as a dictionary. So user of name, this is called a dictionary. Next, returnable function. A function having the return statement is nothing but a returnable function. Next, lambda or anonymous function. This is also very important. Creating a function without anonymous, in the sense create a function without a name. But without a name, how it is possible? That's what we are assigning this lambda function to a variable. So lambda function is the returnable function. Okay, so lambda function is the returnable function, remember this point. So lambda functions are returnable functions. Lambda functions are used to execute only one statement, single statement execution. So lambda function will do single statement execution only. Okay na? So here no function name is required, def is required, no return, return is not required. By default, in the interview, they will ask a lambda function. You must say lambda is a returnable function. No return keyword is required. Lambda is used for one line, one statement execution function. Okay na? Small logic execution you can able to use lambda. Next, recursive function. A function calling itself is called a recursive function. We see in the example of Fibonacci and other. Okay, nested. A function inside of another function is called a nested function. Okay, next, function annotation. See, data annotations and function annotations. So, I mean, a variable or data annotation, function annotation. So, annotation means annotation giving a syntax. Okay, syntactical representation. For example, here is the parameter. What is the data type? A colon int. If you represent like this, name colon str, that is called annotation. Okay, na? So here a return type. Can I mention the return type? Yes. See, a colon int, b colon int, return keyword is there. So here hyphen greater than symbol space int. So this is called return type. Okay, na? Annotation is nothing but a, can I create a variable without a data type? Can I create a function without a return type? Also yes, fine, but that is not a correct. Create a variable with a type. So next, this is called return type. So here you are returning, right? So this is the optional. If you mention or not, no issues. But mentioning is good way. Clear annotation? Next, callback function. So you are passing a function as input parameter to another function and execute that function. See, I want to sort the data. To sort this data, we are passing a lambda function as input parameter. This is called callback function. So sort based on email. In case of a dictionary, see, this is a very important example. I have the ID, name, email. Based on the email, I want to sort Asha, Hemant, Jeevan. That is the order to be executed. Na? So to come this order, for example, I want to sort by the name. Then you need to use lambda function. Lambda used to perform a small logical unit. Next, lambda functions are used as a callback functions. Functions always will return some data type. Clear? Any questions on these functions? Okay, so please practice and let me know any questions. Class. So what is a class? Class is a user defined data type. Class is a user defined data type. As of now, we have seen about a predefined data type. But coming to the class is a user defined data type. Class encapsulates the fields is nothing but a variables, functions, or methods. So you know the definition. Class is a blueprint of the object. Class contains an object. In the Python, data type variable functions are object type. Okay, na? Anything can be object. Already told you, na? Any variable, if you're creating a variable itself, a object. So how to create a class by using the keyword class employee. Okay, so f name, l name, type str. So this is the variables. This is the way to create a function. Creating a variable with a semicolon str. Sir, can I create without str also? No issues. But as per the concept of annotation, better to create so that other person able to know this is the string. Okay. Next, self. So in case of a class, we are having a keyword called as self. Self will represent a current instance. So fname is part of employee, but you are inside of a full name function, full name inside of the employee. So I want to say employee dot fname. So within the same function, instead of saying employee dot fname, we are saying self dot fname. Self will represent current instance of a class. So how to access a class member? So how to access a class? Next question is how to access a class. Taking the questions right. What is a function? Types of functions. What is a callback function? What is anonymous function? All these questions take it. So next, what is a class? How to create a class? Next question, what is a self keyword? Next question, how to access a class members? Okay. So next, see here, employee is equal to employee. So full name is equal to emp dot full name. So this full name is a returnable function. It is going to be written as some full name and we are printing it. Okay. So how many? Next question is how many types of a classes? How many types of classes? How many types? Two types. One is static class. Second one is non-static or instance class. One is the static class. Second one is non-static or instance class. Next, what is a static class? How to create a static class? So static class in the sense same as a normal class, but a static class contain a static methods. Static class contain a static methods. For static class, no need to create an object. Static class member can access directly by using the class name. This is also very important question in the interview. So what is a static class? So in the Java and .NET, we are using the static keyword to create a class. So here no keyword, but a static class contain a static method. How to say method is the static? By the @static method declaration. Okay, so non-static. So non-static in the sense we can able to access the non-static class and the class members by using the object. Creating an object of a class is nothing but a non-static or instance. Okay, so updating or assigning data to a static member. See, static in the sense not separately. For example, employee.fname. For example, emp is equal to employee. This approach is called non-static. Directly you are calling a class name dot variable is nothing but a static. Can update? Yes. Okay, this we discussed. Next, object. So what is an object? Object as instance of a class. So by using the object only, next question is what is an object and explain the object. Object is instance of a class. Object is used to access the class members. Object is used to access the class members. Object represents the state and behavior and instantiation of a class. State represent the properties of a class. Behavior represent a function. Instantiation represent a object of a class. Creating a class is nothing but creating a state and behavior. State is nothing but a f name, l name inside of a class. Behavior is nothing but a functions inside of a class. Creating object is nothing but a instantiation. Okay, so object represents state, behavior, and instantiation. Next, so we are creating a class with the fields. So how many scopes are there? Three scopes are there: global, local, and block scopes. Creating a variable at a class level is nothing but a global scope, f name and l name. So can I create a variable inside of a function that is called function or a local scope? Next, function parameters also a local scope. Block scope, creating a variable inside of a for loops, for, if, while loops is called block scope variable. See, global scope a is equal to 10 underscore fnmr local scope. While I less than 5 here, inside of this one n is equal to I plus 1. N is the block scope variable. So we can able to access within the while only. Next, globals. Globals is a function in the Python default function. It is provide the global information like a file name, global variables. Locals in the sense local information of that file name. Clear? This is about a class and object. A class is a user defined data type. There are two types of a class, static and non-static. Creating an object is called non-static. Creating without, accessing a class member without object is called static. So in this classes, we are having a scopes based on the variable position inside of a class, inside of a function, inside of a loop. Next, global and locals. Next, access modifier. So access modifier deals about accessing a variable from the class. Basically three types: public, private, strongly private. Public in the sense create a variable. This is called a public. Creating variable with one underscore. Single underscore is nothing but a partially private. Strongly means underscore underscore. Can I create a variable underscore underscore f name? Then you can't able to access a strongly private member outside of a class. Okay, so like other programming languages, we don't have any public, private, protected or protected internal or internal like this keywords here. Straightforward. Okay na? OOPS concept, OOPS principles. So OOPS object oriented program is to define about creating a class. Can you explain about a OOPS? Next question is explain about a OOPS. So OOPS defines creating a object of a class and accessing a class members. Okay, so next explain about OOPS principles. There are four principles are there: encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism. Encapsulation in the sense next question is explain about encapsulation. So encapsulate the class fields and functions inside of a class is called encapsulation. Correct? Creating a class itself, we can able to achieve the encapsulation. Okay, so next one is abstraction. Abstraction deals about an exposing a required information or and hiding the potential information is called abstraction. Abstraction deals about exposing and hiding potential information. Basically, encapsulation in the sense hiding, abstraction in the sense exposing. Remember this one: expose and hide. So which it will be hide? Potential information will be hide and expose what is required. Okay na? So how to hide? By creating a private members underscore underscore. Clear? Next one is inheritance. Creating a class from another class is called inheritance. What is inheritance? Explain about inheritance. Creating a class from another class is called inheritance. So by using inheritance, we can able to achieve code reusability. Code reusability. These type of shorthand points you can able to write. So creating a class, another class, reusability. Okay, na? So how to create a class? So in the case of inheritance, two classes will be there. One is the parent or base class. Second one is the derived or child class. Okay, so how to do inheritance? The second child class, so this is inheritance. In case in the braces, we need to be add the parent class or base class name. Okay, how many types of inheritance? Next, How many types of inheritance, that I will explain you. Take it as a question. What is a constructor and types of constructor? So what is a constructor? Constructor initialize the class fields. Constructor initialize the class fields. Syntax, definition, space, underscore, underscore, init, underscore, underscore, params. And then statement. This is called constructor. Next, types of constructor. There are two types. One is default or parameterless constructor. Second one is parameterized constructor. One is default or parameterless. Next one is the parameterized. Default or parameterless constructor in the sense. So this is the example. Okay. So default constructor in the sense, can I create a class without a constructor? Yes. But at a runtime, a class constructor will be created. In case of default, when the constructor will be created? Runtime. But can I create a constructor? Yes, you can able to create a constructor without a constructor. No issues. Parameterized constructor in the sense, constructor with parameter. Self is the default parameter inside of any function in the class. Any function. It can be constructor function or normal function. Self. Second parameter. Next parameters represent parameters to the constructor or arguments to that constructor. Okay, na? Next. Clear? Constructor and types of constructor. Next, types of inheritance. Single, multi-level, multiple, hierarchical, hybrid. Single level in the sense, class A, class B, 2. Multi-level in the sense, class A, class B, class C. Multiple in the sense, creating a, see here, multi-level class A. Class A is the parent of class B, class B is the parent of class C, class C is the parent of class D. This is called multi-level. Multiple in the sense, this is the multiple. So a class contains the more than one parent class. A class is created from the more than one parent class is called multiple. So multiple, clear? Okay, but multiple will not support other than the Python. So in the Java.NET, we don't have the multiple. But in case of a class B, class C, so I have the same methods. Class A, class B, two different classes. Some situation, can I have the same method? Yes. But in this case, class C implemented class A or class B? Class A's method. Okay, no? That is the what we have discussed. Hierarchical. So a child class is defining from parent class. See, class B, class C defining from class A. This is called a hierarchical. Hybrid. Hybrid is the combination of multiple and hierarchical. Above is the hierarchical. So classes are creating from class A, class B, class A created from class A. Class D is from the class B, comma C. This is called hierarchical. Oh, sorry, hybrid. Hybrid is a combination of hierarchical and multi-level. Any questions up to now? Okay. So next, polymorphism. As of now, encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance deals about a class. And encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance deals about a class. Polymorphism deals about a functions. Next, what is a explain about polymorphism and the types of polymorphism. Poly means many forms. See, polymorphism in the sense, everybody giving this answer only. Poly means many forms. No, that is the just a statement. Polymorphism deals about method overloading and overriding. This is the definition. Method overloading and overriding. That is the definition. Okay, na? So creating a function with a optional parameter is called method overloading. So see here, in this case, pin code is optional. If I pass or not, no issues. But one situation you are calling a function with 3 parameters, one situation 4 parameter. Then it is called method overloading. Loading in the sense, calling it different ways. Next, overriding. Overriding deals about you will have a parent and a child class. Parent and a child class. The parent class function, same signature and same method implementation is implemented in the child class. Creating a same method name, same signature. So if you have the parent and the child class, creating a same function in the parent and the child class is called a method overriding. Okay, so in the method overriding, if you create a object of a child class, then you are accessing the child class member or parent class. Now I am having the class A, class B, addition, add method in the parent A and parent. Now you are creating an object of a class B. So class B is equal to class B. So now you are saying about class B dot add. So that add is the part of a parent or child class. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Next, modularity. See, in the Python, you are creating a file itself, you are achieving a modularity. So Python modularity concept taken from the modular thing. Functionality, functional programming language taken from the C programming language. OOPS concepts are taken from the CPP, C++. Okay, na? Next, modularity approach is taken from the Modular 3. Next, script features are taken from the Perl and Shell. Okay, for example, Python features taken from, so what are the first one is the functional programming, which is taken from C programming language. Next, functional programming language from the C programming language. Next one is OOPS. OOPS is taken from the CPP or C++. CPP. Next, modularity, which is taken from the Modula 3. Next, Modula 3. Next, scripting features. Scripting is taken from the Perl and Shell programming language. Okay, na? So by seeing this one only, he implemented. Who is implemented? Guido van Rossum. Okay, so if I coming to the modularity, please take this one, Python feature taken from. So what is a modularity? Explain about a modularity in the Python. So module means you are creating a library or a some syntax is called a modularity. So here in the Python, we are creating a each and every file. .py file itself, each and every file is nothing but a one module. Okay, na? Okay, how many types? Two types. Predefined or Python modules, user different. For example, time. Okay, for example, math module, time in the sense a date module. Okay, all these are called default. So clear the modularity. You are creating a separate class file itself, a module file. Next, composition and aggregation classes. So there are other two ways of concepts. So which are composition and aggregation. So composition means creating an object of a class in another class is called composition. So I have the two classes, employee and address. Now I am creating an address object inside of employee. This is called composition. Okay, na? Composition. So aggregation in the sense, so we are creating two classes. Okay, so those two are the two separate employee and address classes. But in case of this one, see, employee is the class. Okay, so and address is the separate class. But in the address, in the employee class, I have the address. In the previous example, in case of OBJ, I'm directly calling a address. See, in case of OBJ, directly calling a address. Address is another class. So creating object of a class inside of another class is called composition. Aggregation in the sense, so here two different classes are there. A class will now never depend on another class. So a class object will not creating on another class. So instead of creating a class inside of another class, we are creating object of employee. Yes, yes. So in this object, address is the other class. Got it? Address is other class. So a class is passing as input parameter to another class. In case of aggregation, we are passing a object of a class as input parameter to employee class set address function. Okay na? So creating object of a class inside of another class, employee and address class. In the employee, we are creating object of address class and creating employee address. That is one approach. Okay, that approach is here. Employee class, we are creating a address and to this address I'm passing a city, state, country. Okay, and I'm consuming the class members of this composition. In case of aggregation class, what we are doing? We are creating two different classes. One class never depend on another class. Now creating an object. See, here I am creating a object of employee. Emp is equal to employee. Employee dot set address. I am passing a address object. Address comma Hyderabad comma TS comma India. So that object is creating a. See, the object is creating a here. So in case of aggregation, object of address is created dynamically. Okay, na? That is called aggregation class. Next, matcher. Next question is how to work with a matcher. Okay, so here is the difference between a concrete static class and abstract class. Okay, next question is abstract class. What is abstract class? So abstract class he used to create a base class or a derived class. So abstract class he is used in the inheritance only. Abstract class contains abstract method and concrete methods. Okay, so what is the purpose of abstract class? See, now I want to create some base structure. Okay, na? So by using the abstract class, we can able to create a base structure today, and that implementation is done by the tomorrow. Okay, na? So for example, I'm having a parent class. I will create a class, but I'm not going to implement that implementation done by some other developers. That we can able to create as an abstract class. Okay, abstract method, concrete method. Abstract method don't have any implementation. Simply at the rate abstract method add on the top of here. See, at the rate abstract method. That's it. Simply pass. In case of concrete method, you must implement the concrete method. This is called concrete method. Okay, na? But sir, concrete method also instead of implement, can I say pass? Yes, you can able to say the pass. That is possible in the Python. Coming to the Java and .NET, pass also not possible. So leaving the brasses like this, it will not work. Okay, na? Okay, na? So abstract class, you can't able to create object of a abstract class. You can't able to create. You never create object of a abstract class. See, concrete class we can able to create object. Abstract class we can't able to create a object. Abstract concrete class contain only concrete methods. Abstract class contain abstract and concrete method. Concrete in the sense implemented method. Abstract method is nothing but a non-implemented method. Okay, next, what is the benefit of a abstract method? It, for example, you are creating a base class employee. I want to must implement abstract method. If you are saying abstract, abstract class will force to implement the abstract methods in the child. Okay, so it was little confusion topic. Abstract method is nothing but a used to create a base class or parent class. Abstract class contains abstract and concrete methods. Abstract methods implemented by the child class. Okay, abstract method forced to implement the abstract method in the child class. Clear? Next, decorator. So decorator adds extra behavior to the method in the class. There are two types. One is predefined. Second one is user defined. Predefined is enough. For example, static at the rate static method. Okay, at the rate abstract method. By default, all the methods are a class methods. You don't need to be add at the rate a class method. See, at the rate abstract method. Then only this function become abstract method. Class member. Default any class in the function itself a class member. Class method. If you mention or not, no issues. Next, static method. How to create a static method? By using at the rate static. By using at the rate static. Okay, na? How to create a static methods? So static class in the sense a method contains static method is called the static classes. Okay. Next important is the property. What is the property? See, to access a variable, how we are doing? To provide the security level or accessing level of a variable, you are saying at the rate name. Next, while creating object of a variable, we are doing passing at the rate name. Sorry. We are creating a object of a class. We are passing parameter to a constructor and then we are assign. So can we sort out this one? Yes. I want to, while consuming, I want to access as a variable, but I want to provide a security level to get and set data to a variable. I have a class. I want to protect these values. How to protect? By using C. Instead of adding like this, simply say at the rate property, definition of name. But you are thinking like a function, but this is not a function. So this is returning the self dot underscore underscore name. Okay. So next definition of name self comma value. This is for setting the value. Now you can able to access the name as a normal parameter. See, name email. You are accessing as a normal parameter or not? So if I remove the setter or getter, you can't. If I remove the setter, you can't able to set. If I remove the getter, you can't able to get a name. How to create a get by using at the rate property in case of set. This variable name dot setter. You need to be say that one. Okay. Next, if you want to delete at the rate email dot deleter. Clear? So properties are providing access level of a variable. Basically, sir, I will create underscore underscore name. But how to assign and get the value from a name? I will create a function, sir. Instead of you to be create a function. So we are having approach called a properties. At the consumption level, you can able to consume emp dot name is equal to gopi, emp dot email is equal to gopi at the rate gmail.com. So to work like this, we can able to create a property. See. Simply here you are creating as a function, but the consumption is like a variable only. Clear? Next, exception handling. So in the programming language, so basically human caused exception or system caused exception or logic caused exception will become. Logic can be failed, writing a syntax can be failed, accessing because of some data also system can fail. So to handle that exceptions, we are using the exception handling. These exception can be compile time or runtime. So developer found an error is called defect. Tester found an error is called bug. Both are error only. They found that is one. How to create a try colon next except colon finally. So whenever exception is coming, then except will be executed. Finally, we'll execute in case of exception and without exception also. Sir, once it was success, then only I want to get a exception. Then you need to say sorry. Once the system is success, then only I want to execute some logic. Then you need to be use else. Okay, na? Then you need to use else. Please take what is exception handling. Use the syntax of exception and explain some exceptions. See 0 by division exception. Okay. So next, how to handle? See the base exception. Base exception is the base class for all the exceptions. Explain about a base exception. Okay. So base exception, any exception will be tracked by the base. Otherwise, I want to predict a specific exception, zero division error, type error. All these are predefined exceptions. Can I raise an exception based on my condition? Yes. Next, create. Next, how to create a custom exception by using raise exception of a message. By using this one, you can able to write a raise a custom exception. Okay, na? Any questions? So when the else block in the exception handling will execute once that logic was success. When final will execute in success or failure, final will execute. Next, why file handling. So in the Python programming language, I want to write some content to a file or I want to read some content from the file. So what is a file handling? How to work with a file handling? Okay. So take this one. So file handling used to read or write content in the file. How to write? If you want to read or write, I want to open a file. Variable name is equal to file. F is equal to open of file name. How to read? F dot read. How to write? F dot write. But to read or write, I'm having a modes. Explain the file operation modes in the Python. Okay, so readable in the sense to check a file can be readable or not. How to check a file can be readable or not? By using readable. What are the modes? R for read, W for write, A for append, R plus read and write, W plus write and read. Okay, na? So these modes we have explained. Any questions? Next, logging. Sir, what is mean by logging? So while you are working on some transaction, for example, I am ordering a product in a so-and-so Amazon or some Flipkart website. From order to order is completed, I want to track the process. Why I need to be tracked? Sometimes order can be success, payment can fail. Sometimes payment can able to success, order cannot be placed. To track any situation, we need to use the logging. So to implement the logging, see, we need to import logging and we need to import the date time to track the data. So see here a class logging information class is created. So logging we imported, here we imported. Logging dot basic information. File name is equal, this is the file name. And what is the mode? Read or write? I want to write, then say W. Okay, na? Self dot logger is equal to logging dot get logger. Okay, so get logger is to get the file details. Here we are adding the configuration. Next to getting the file details. Next, so here I am working on setting the logging type. For example, a log can be a error, the log can be a warning, the log can be a message, or log can be a info. Okay, so warning in the sense it will be note. We already seen the output. In the output, it will give error or warning. For example, I am writing a logic. Something was failed. I want to log that exception as error. Okay, na? Clear? So logging means in the real time, you are writing any logic, you must do the logging. Logging is log the transactions in the Python. Next, important enums. Enums are the named constants. Import enum class log type of enum. See the enums. So enum dot enum. So this is the enum is nothing but a module. Error info warning. Just I'm giving 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. These definitions and examples I have explained earlier. You already there in your notes. Okay. So these are the questions. One is functional programming language. Next, object oriented programming. In the functional programming language, basic questions are important, basic programs are important, and next data types is important. Coming to the object oriented program, so these class oops principles, exception handling, working with a file, enums, all these are important. So these questions are enough for you to get a success in the interview. So you have the 100 programming, 100 also not important. Just 5 to 6 programs are enough for Fibonacci series, primary, palindrome or not. Check some given string. Next, reverse the string, reverse the numbers. So like this, we have the 10 important programming language. Next, how to work with the list. So just practice the 10. Any question can be, I mean, practice that 100. Any question can be asked. Next, how many questions came now? Hmm?
81, sir.
So these are the 80 questions. So 1 or 2 questions you may miss. So take it as around 80 questions. Here is the 80, there is the 100. These are 180 questions. So learn these 180 questions. These are enough.
Okay.
Okay, already members are attending, right? Interview. So apart from this one, any questions are new? In this Python programming language, almost all these 180 questions. Okay, so just Google it, you will get a 10 more extra questions. So add it. So like this, here 100 questions, there 100 questions. Okay, na? Some questions can indirectly they will ask. Some questions they can be directly. Okay, so how they will ask like how to override a function. Override in the sense polymorph. Polymorphism having method overriding and overload. Overriding in the sense parent and child class. That is the way they can be asked. Okay, don't expect sometimes direct questions on. Any questions? So that's it.